Yo, what is going on today, guys? My name is Jack Bender, host of Bar4Bar, and welcome back to episode number 8. I got a huge episode for you guys today. This is a New Year special, and I know it's 3 weeks late. I apologize for that. I've been super busy, but we got my hopes for 2021 today. I got a few artists I think will blow up in 2021, and I got my top 15 songs of the year for you guys. But before we get into all that, please stay tuned till the end of the episode because I have a huge announcement coming up at the end of the episode that I want to share with you guys. So, starting off for the episode, hopes for 2021 in the world of hip hop. I got a few here, and I mean, the first ones I'm going to start with are who I hope drops an album. Gotta start with the most obvious one here today, guys. Drake. Drake is said to be dropping Certified Lover Boy, which is the next title of his album, coming, I think, in the end of January. It was announced today that for some reason, due to medical issues, he'll be pushing that off a tiny bit and won't have it finished in time. But I'm still looking forward to that. I'm still fully expecting it, and anticipating it to drop in 2021. I have a really good feeling about this album, guys, because this title gives me a very good certain vibe that it's Drake not overthinking things, and that was kind of my issue with Scorpion. I feel like coming into Scorpion, Drake felt like he had a lot to prove as an MC, as a father, whatever the case may be. But the issue with that was, he got too much. There was too much thought to put into it to the point where artistically it was just all over the place. And not that I'm looking for a total concept project from Drake, but it was a little concerning when I just saw him, not being Drake. It was a bunch of poor beat selection, and I think a lot of similar flows that didn't really make for a whole unique batch of songs. But I have high hopes for Certified Lover Boy because the last album he did that I really don't think he overthought a lot was If You're Reading This It's Too Late, which, by the way, is, in my opinion, from a rapping perspective, is Drake's best album. So, again, I have high hopes for this album. I'm really looking forward to it. As mainstream as Drake is and as well-known as he is to the entire human population, I really do. I really am looking forward to this one, guys. The second one, another really obvious one, Kendrick Lamar. We haven't heard from this man since 2017 when he dropped Damn. And, I mean, obviously, yes, there's been a gap between a lot of his album releases, even between Pimp a Butterfly and Damn, and and obviously we had Section 80 in there, or Section 80 before, excuse me. But I mean, I just, it's about time. I mean, Kendrick, I mean, the album is rumored to have been done many months ago. Now, obviously, this could mean a number of things because the album could be recorded and just not have been mixed and mastered yet. Because if you look at a project like, say, obviously totally different style of rap. But look at 21 Savage and Metro Boomin's Savage Mode 2. That album was finished for so long, but they were just perfecting it to every little end to make sure it comes out as much of a finished product as possible. So, they were mixing and mastering that for probably 8 months. Look at Logic's No Pressure album. That was mixed and mastered. I mean, that was recorded, I believe, in Logic said in a week. It was perfected, in other words, mixed and mastered over the course of a year. So, yeah, I mean, that could mean a number of things, but I'm really looking forward to see if Kendrick drops this year. I can't see him not. I feel like he's at a point where, yes, I don't think he's obligated to because he's such an established MC and artist at this point, but I feel like it's just for the fans' sake and for hip-hop's sake, especially in the time we're in. I feel like it's later. It should have been dropped earlier if it is finished, if it is in fact finished. But now, better late than never, I think as soon as possible is the best timing that you could possibly, come together with for this album. Number 3, J. Cole and The Fall Off. The Fall Off is actually, I'm anticipating this a lot more than any recent J. Cole album, including KOD, because the 2 singles coming up to this, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of The Lion King on Ice, but The Climb Back is one of my favorite songs of the year, and I'll get into that in a few minutes, not to spoil anything. But The Climb Back was such an amazing single. It just had Cole rapping over a fantastic beat with this little vocal sample in the back. And obviously, J. Cole has also had a huge couple of years, everything from what the hell is it called? His labels record. So why the hell is it escaping me? But yeah, it's our Dreamville, the Dreamville album, Revenge of the Dreamers 3. That was a great record in my opinion, and it could have been, it's not perfect, but it was great, and it had a lot of great features and verses from J. Cole on it. I think a lot of the features he's done before he really stopped doing features have been great. I don't see any reason not to anticipate the fall off, because I think it's going to be one of the biggest albums of the year when it does drop. Number 4, little outside the realm of hip hop, more R&B and pop, but Frank Ocean. I haven't heard from this man in a fucking minute, dude. Frank needs to drop something. Frank's versatility as an artist is nearly unmatched, and only comparable to like someone like The Weeknd. And I think he really needs to drop, dude. I mean, Channel Orange and Blonde are some of my favorite, pop slash R&B like albums ever. And I don't see any reason why he won't drop this year. I mean, I feel like it's a little less likely than, say, a Kendrick, who, considering the topical, the topics he covers usually in his music and the timing of it all. But Frank Ocean, I feel like, still is kind of reaching a point where he will lose relevancy if he doesn't drop. And yeah, he's sitting on a fat stack of cash, just like Kendrick is, and just like any of these other guys are. And I'm sure he's very comfortable right now and has a very established career just off those 2 classic albums. But at the same time, it's really hard. I find it very hard to believe he won't capitalize upon an opportunity to make another classic, which is exactly what I'm hoping for. Number 5, and the final one, I hope. Obviously, there's a lot of other artists I hope that will drop in 2021, but the final one is Isaiah Rashad. Isaiah Rashad, I haven't heard from in even longer, I don't think. I think the last album he dropped was even before Frank Ocean, and I mean, he had a great single that dropped this year called Why Worry that I was a huge fan of. That was also one of my favorite songs of 2020. And Isaiah Rashad is such a unique member of TDE. Top Dog really like hit the fucking gold with this one. Obviously Isaiah Rashad, very established. It's kind of an if you know type of thing. If you are a fan of him, and you are a fan of a much more mellow, somewhat experimental form of hip hop, then you will realize Isaiah Rashad's talent. You will realize the appeal of his music. So I mean, we need him to drop as well. I have one big prediction, because somebody asked me, like, what's your one big prediction? I had someone on Snapchat ask me this a while ago, and that like a general prediction to make about hip hop in 2021. I think if I had to make one that I'm almost certain of, the city of Detroit will have its biggest year in hip-hop ever. Detroit, whether people realize it or not, has a stacked roster, an absolutely stacked roster in hip-hop. They have T Grizzly, Eminem, Sada Baby, Boldy James, Royce da 5'9", Danny Brown, Days Low, if you wish to throw her in there as a quote-unquote rapper, Big Sean, who am I missing? Payroll Giovanni, Cash Kid, Cash Doll. Who the hell am I missing? There's a lot of others, but Detroit is definitely destined for a breakout year, similar to that of like an Atlanta or a New York type environment for hip hop. So that if I had to make one big prediction for hip hop this year, it'd be that Detroit is going to have a massive breakout year. I also think there's 3 artists that I think will blow up in 2021 and start to break through to the mainstream. The first one on that list is Baby Youngin, not Jada Youngin, Baby Youngin. Baby Youngin, I think, has the potential to really, and has such a unique, profound voice, and I think he's in the underground right now. He had a viral hit semi-viral hit that blew up earlier in the year called Soldier, and his vocal range, and his dynamics of his voice are just so unique in that of hip hop. I find it hard to believe that he won't capitalize off what the viewership and fan base he's grown thus far, and I think he's destined for a breakout year. I'm hoping for one. The second one on that list is Chicago's very own Lil Easy. Lil Easy has drawn a lot of Polo G comparisons, but I think he is a little different in the sense of his delivery and a less vocally driven style of rapping. I think Lil Easy has a lot of talent. Easy has, I think it's like 16 to 17, maybe 18 at most. He has a huge very high ceiling. I mean, when it comes to his music career, I think he can I think in Chicago's drill scene, he's standing out already, and he's destined to really break through to the mainstream. I mean, obviously he's had a few great songs. I mean, Letter to Tracy, On the Come Up are 2 great songs that he's released, and I'm really looking forward to what else he has to offer. The final artist on that list is YSN Flow. Yes, I'm a little biased because I'm from Cleveland, but YSN Flow is definitely destined for a breakout year. He is one of the most polarizing figures in hip-hop from a vocal standpoint, and I think he has the talent and the hit-making ability to really hit the mainstream. If I had to pick one of these people that is most likely to really skyrocket, I think it's YSN Flow. And lots of people might say, Easy already has like a few songs that really blew up, on a come up, has 20 something million streams on Spotify, so on and so forth. But Flow has the talent he needs to create a great project that people will remember for a while, in my opinion. But moving on, guys, I have my top 15 songs of 2020 next. Now, keep in mind, I have a good mix of songs here, and I'm sure, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people disagreeing with me, but you got two options. Either shut the fuck up or make your own. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, let's go. Number 15 on the list is Surf and Turf by Boldy James and The Alchemist featuring Vincent Staples. Oh my god. Why is it every time Vince Staples is on a feature with Alchemist on production, or like Freddie Gibbs on it, he just kills it? But this song is so... It's the type of shit Griselda does. And it's such... The production is definitely a standout here, along with Boldy just absolutely floating on this beat. Vince contributing a couple cool bars as well. But this song is incredible, and it is definitely one of my top 15. It definitely has to crack my top 15, at least crack my top 15 of 2020. Number 14 is the Bald remix. It's JPEG Mafia featuring Denzel Curry, and Denzel Curry delivered arguably his best feature of the entire year here. Or maybe possibly ever. Denzel Curry absolutely went in. The Bald song itself is already really fucking good, and JPEG Mafia absolutely rode that beat. And that's the impressive part. The beat is not that great, and a very hard to flow over beat. So when you see Denzel Curry and JPEG Mafia absolutely murking it, it's definitely something that's list worthy here. Number 13, like I mentioned earlier, Why Worry by Isaiah Rashad. Why Worry sees Isaiah Rashad in his best element. He is the production is perfectly suitable for him, and Isaiah Rashad just comes back with doing what he does best, which is a steady, smooth flow over a really gentle kind of, but also unsettling instrumental. And I don't see any reason why this won't crack my top 15 as well, because Isaiah Rashad, the talent he has to be able to float over any beat like that is almost unmatched in hip hop. Number 12, Lockdown by Anderson .Paak, however you want to pronounce his name. A lot of people forget Anderson .Paak, as much as an R&B singer he also is. He can fucking rap, dude. He can rap. And this song sees him in his element as well with that. Some of his best rapping I've heard from him to date. And a song that basically, touches over, the Black Lives Matter movement and the events earlier this year concerning the shootings and the deaths of, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor, so on and so forth. But it's a very, very well written, very well thought out song that Anderson .Paak obviously put a lot of time into, and I think it's a very good quote unquote anthem for 2020. Number 11, Deep Reverence by Big Sean featuring the late Nipsey Hussle. Big Sean has, in Detroit too, Big Sean displays some of his best lyricism to date. And in Detroit too, which ended up being, I think, my favorite album from him. This song was absolutely a standout though, and he just, it's insane. Big Sean is delivering some of his best bars, and Nipsey Hussle contributing a fantastic feature as well. Matter of fact, I would say one of his best features in the last 5 years. And rest in peace, of course. But Big Sean just coming in with the bars. I mean, my biggest issue with Big Sean in the past has been that he's had some corny lines here and there. But all in all, this is definitely one of his best songs in a long time, with a great verse from Nipsey Hussle. Number 10, this is a song I feel very strongly about, and I feel is, of all the songs that dropped in response to, the events going on with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so on and so forth, This is the best. Wishing for a Hero, Polo G featuring BJ the Chicago Kid. This song is so powerful. The Tupac sample used in the back was absolutely beautifully incorporated into the song, and Polo G just went in. Rapping Polo G, I almost tend to prefer over singing Polo G, because he has this passion in his delivery that is so hard to mimic and so hard to replicate that almost sounds just like raw emotion. And it's you could tell from an emotional standpoint that the pain he feels genuinely about his community, his people, and the pain they've endured over the last several decades and throughout all of history, as a matter of fact. So Polo definitely killed this track. BJ the Chicago Kid had a fucking beautiful outro, singing, obviously interpolating the Tupac lyrics. So that is definitely up there as well. Number 9 is Darkness by Eminem. Eminem, as much as I was mixed, and as many mixed thoughts as there were on Music to Be Murdered By, this song stuck out like a sore thumb, and it is really hard to forget. Eminem puts himself in the song in the mind of the Las Vegas shooter, that at that hotel that killed 50 people a while ago, and draws literally an entire metaphor throughout the entire song. He is the entire song drawing an almost scary good parallel between his life as a rapper and like what it feels like losing that fame and that public, I guess you could say public, how he is known as a public figure and as an artist. He compares that to the shooter and what's going through his head right before he does that. And it is such a beautifully drawn song, such a powerful song, and that definitely cracks my top 10. I was almost considering putting in my top 5. Number 8 is George Bondo by Westside Gunn, Conway the Machine, and Benny Butcher. This song sees Griselda at its best rapping, dude. Griselda, obviously one of the most polarizing groups in all of hip hop right now. As from a lyrical standpoint, I would argue the best from a lyrical standpoint, and this song just sees them all in their element, dude. The beat with the piano line in there is absolutely disgusting and also amazing, but also unsettling at the same time. It creates such an eerie feeling that is just perfect, the perfect grimy setting for Gunn, Conway, and Benny to rap over. So that one definitely has to crack my top 10 just for the sheer rapping ability and the production. Number 7, Enlacing by Clipping. Clipping delivered one of, if not the best album of the year, and included like a ton. Their style of horrorcore rapping is so unique and such a breath of fresh air, and at the same time so unsettling and eerie and uncomfortable, to the point where but it's infectious, and that's what makes it so unique about Clipping, is that their existence in Addiction to Blood, albums like that are going to be remembered and be embedded in people's minds for a long time, even after just one listen. Number 6 is Something to Rap About by Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist featuring Tyler, the Creator. Something to Rap About is also a fantastic track that, includes some of the best rapping we've seen from Freddie Gibbs, one of the best features from Tyler, and also not, even though it's not Alchemist's best beat, a disgustingly satisfying beat from Alchemist. Number 5, as much as I know it isn't rap, it's okay because he's so heavily affiliated with rap, but Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. I don't care how mainstream the song is, this song brings back such a good, a feel-good 80s vibe, but over such a really almost somewhat somber, love topic. And that's one of the things that makes The Weeknd so great, is his versatility, his ability to go from, party, dark music, or dark party music that we saw on like Starboy, and then go into an album like After Hours and just absolutely nail the concept beginning to end, and additionally just create great songs that will be remembered for the next 10 years, like Blinding Lights. Number 4 is Good News by Mac Miller. Oh my god, where did I start with the song, man? It just feels like Mac's there. As corny and cliche as that sounds, Mac is just so present in the song that I mean, if you watch someone like Fantano who reacted to it, it literally brought him to tears. It brought me to tears the first time I reacted to it. It's such a memorable track, and I find it impossible to, dislike this track. The very plucky guitar strings throughout it, as Max, all like very somber, very mellow voice. It's a perfect combination to really, and I think it was the best single to release for the first single of Circles. Scotty Beam is number 3, and it's Freddie Gibbs, The Alchemist, and Rick Ross. Yes, Freddie Gibbs on here again, man. Again, some of Freddie Gibbs' best rapping. Rick Ross with a fantastic feature. Honestly, when he came on the beat, I did not think Rick Ross would float like he did. I wasn't super confident in Rick Ross being able to rhyme over this beat, because I hadn't seen him rhyme over such a grimy beat in so long. But when he first said his first line, there was no doubt left in my head. Definitely a great Rick Ross feature. Number 2, The Climb Back by J. Cole. I already kind of talked about this song, but again, one of Cole's best songs in a long time. Definitely a highlight, and hopefully is a sign of the Fall Off coming soon. I did see recently he was shooting a music video for the Fall Off, so that gives me a lot of hope. And number 1, my number 1 song of 2020 is Walking in the Snow by Run the Jewels. This album in general, if you haven't listened to this, I would 100. This is my favorite album of 2020. I'm not gonna give a full album list this year, but this is easily my favorite album of 2020. Walking in the Snow by Run the Jewels is such. It couldn't have come at a better time. It really couldn't have. And in 2021, I mean, this album will live on to be remembered for a while. I think it's probably Killer Mike and LP's best work yet. I would and as a group, and it's just, dude, this, I mean, LP opens up with a great verse, talking about how controlling media is, and, once that cage is done with them, and you still pour, come for you. LP delivers a great verse, but then, after the hook, dude, Killer Mike delivers one of his best verses ever. And it's hard for me to say that. Killer Mike delivered, I think, what is the best hip-hop verse, period, of 2020. He is just going in. The verse gives you goosebumps. Everything from the "I can't breathe" line to the end, where the beat picks up and matches the intensity of which the topics of which he's speaking about. It is just so incredible, and I would 100% recommend anyone listen to this album, and especially this song, if nothing else. Alright, guys, I think that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching Bar4Bar, but I do have one more announcement before we go. Starting very, very, very soon, I will be starting to do interviews on both up-and-coming rappers and already established rappers. So definitely keep an eye out for those on the channel, because I have some already laid out that I'm really excited to share with you guys. And some already recorded as well, so I'm really looking forward to putting those out for you guys. But thank you so much, you guys, for listening and watching, wherever platform you're on. This is Jack Bender, host of Bar4Bar. Peace out, guys.